we're at the NetHope Summit in Munich together. It's been a number of years since I've been in person at NetHope. I think the last time was Dublin, when we at Avanade launched our focus on the non-profit sector, so tech for social good. So great to be here with you, Lance, and great to catch up. And just want to cover a few points, get your perspective on the summit so far, and really the evolution of NetHope as well. So I know in some of your speeches you made this week, you highlighted the evolution of NetHope. It's been running for around 22 years, I think, but it's coming from very much humanitarian focus. But are you seeing the focus broaden out now? We hear a lot this week around ESG, environmental impact, sustainability. Are you seeing that as the evolution of NetHope?
I believe it's the direction of travel in many ways. When I came into NetHope 3 years ago, I commissioned research into all the strategic plans of our member organizations. And one of the things that we learned in that process is that every member organization, whether they were environmentally focused, short-term humanitarian focused, or long-term development focused, were dealing with climate change in some aspect of their plan. And it was featured in different ways in their plan, but every organization was dealing with it in one way or another. And so increasingly what we're seeing in the sector is that the development of humanitarian organizations and the environmental organizations are finding themselves moving together in their work. They're really seeing themselves now as two sides of the same coin. And in fact, they really always have been, but the world was such that organizations could operate in silos. And so now these sectors are coming together, and they're doing it through NetHope. And one of the bridges to those organizations talking to one another and devising shared solutions that prioritize both human well-being and prioritize the integrity of nature will be technology. So technology is increasingly the way these groups are speaking to one another. It's increasingly the tools that they're going to develop have to have dual benefits. And so this is happening in the sector already, and NetHope is really becoming more of a place where we will convene those solutions, we'll convene those dialogues, and we'll find ways for these member organizations working in over 190 countries, serving over 1.6 billion people, working on all aspects of these problems to really come together, find each other, work together, and do more through better data, through better technology, and so forth. So yeah. It's not the future, it's now.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. That very much mirrors what we are seeing with our clients, both in the non-profit sector and the commercial sector as well. I've just taken on a new role in the Avanade Global Organization for our ESG focus and our responsible business focus. And just echoing some of the points that you made, I think I see that in a number of ways. Not only how does Avanade operate internally, we look at our own sustainability and environmental footprint, what's the impact of our operations, working with organizations like EcoVadis just to monitor that and make sure we're controlling it, through to really running as a responsible business, a balanced business. So what do we do about gender equity, inclusion, diversity within the organization? But also how do we make a better impact on society? And we've had an increasing drive and focus on what we would call corporate citizenship, working with organizations like Junior Achievement, Prosperity Now, and others, really to use our employees' volunteering time and probably their technical expertise as well to great effect helps on many non-profit organizations further their missions. So, it's becoming a broader focus for us, but equally, how can we help end clients in the non-profit sector and the commercial sector use technology to amplify their impact and mission? I said before, about 5 years ago, we launched what we call Tech for Social Good. And really the idea there was, when we launched at NetHope, was to reproduce reusable IP for the non-profit sector. There was a great quote in one of the presentations this morning when one of the presenters said, everyone here at NetHope should be producing solutions for the sector, not just for their own organisation. So we've taken that kind of collaboration message to heart, and everything we do, we try and harvest that IP and take it back to the sector for reuse. So that's one aspect of impact, but equally, as you say, is the worlds of non-profit impact, humanitarian activity, sustainability start to converge, how do we help organizations in both sectors manage their impact? So a lot more of the solutions that IP we're delivering into the commercial sector, for example, we think could be reused in terms of monitoring emissions, the impact of companies on wildlife populations, and we're starting to see cool solutions like applying AI for monitoring all that, and these are solutions we really want to harvest, stick back into the sector. So hopefully that's going to resonate with your member organisations across NetHope, and hopefully you see the applicability of these solutions as well.
Very much so.
And I think the other kind of areas that we've been thinking about this week as we've been discussing with clients, how do we be responsible about the use of technology? And there's been a lot of mention of AI this week. And whenever we think about AI, there's been a lot of discussion about ChatGPT, Microsoft's Copilots, and of course all the other vendors here this week. But when we speak to organizations, it's not a case of jumping straight to the technology. They want to stand back and say, okay, on ethical grounds, in terms of eliminating biases, how do they think about the governance and the ethical use of AI? Is that something that you are seeing across your member organizations as well, those kind of concerns?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a potentially transformative technology that just in the last year alone, through the public release of ChatGPT and some of the other large language model-based tools, it's going to be transformative. And people are rightly concerned about its responsible use. I should say that as well that NetHope is not new to this space. Our AI work goes back a few years now.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear DevX on stage presenting yesterday, and the speaker from that organisation was saying, too often doing more with less often ends up meaning doing less with less, which I have a lot of sympathy with. But I think what we're seeing in terms of converging many of these tools, the low-code, no-code tooling that we've been demonstrating this week, with the application of AI, I'm hopeful that can drive efficiency of operation, lower cost of operation. And as you get the tooling into the hands of end users in the field, that makes IT more effective. So hopefully, although there's always a cost to doing these things, over time, organizations can become more effective in delivering their mission and lower the cost to do that. Is that something that you're seeing in the field as well?
I think there's always going to be a drive for doing things more efficiently, and certainly in an environment where we're expected to do more with less, that will be a dynamic that everyone's going to be wrestling with. I think the challenge is going to be to make sure that by doing more with less, that we don't cut the responsibility, the responsible use of the technology out of the picture. Because if by efficiency we mean lax governance, or we mean less oversight for responsible use or unintended consequences, which is certainly a great potential for that to be the case with the use of AI, and that's really the big concern that members have here about the use of the technology, then that moves us into dangerous territory. But if we can be operationally more efficient, and at the same time we can increase kind of the quality of our learning about how AI is actually functioning, and we can then help that become a better tool to be both responsible and efficient, then that's a potentially bright future.
Yes, yeah. And a lot of the focus at Avanade that we've been putting really has been around not just the implementation of the technology, but really the ethical frameworks, the governance of these technologies, so that we take away the risk that people are potentially gambling with the impact these tools will have. Really think about where we put the guardrails in place to make sure they're effective, but also relatively risk-free, as you say. So again, any opportunity we can have to discuss that with NetHope members and advise and guide and help with their concerns, we're very open to doing that.
Well, that's terrific, and as we always appreciate working with you, and we appreciate our long partnership with Avanade, and really grateful that you're here, and really want to thank you so much.
Great. Thanks for making the time, Les.
Yeah.
Good to see you.